Hello everyone, today we're talking about Tonka Impériale. Now, I know this is a discontinued scent. It's been discontinued for a while now. Is it 2 years already? Oh my goodness. Must be 2 years. They discontinued Tonka Impériale because they were introducing the new Lalamatia X-rays, which were of course more expensive, and you couldn't have another beautiful Tonka scent because they were introducing, this Tonka Sarapia, which is, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. I've been wearing this out of this sample, but this is more expensive, so you don't want the cheaper variety, which cost 500 euros as well for 200 milliliters. You had to buy the most expensive one, which is 500 and something euros for 50 milliliters. Well, of course, rant over. Now, I was telling you in the previous video about Angélique Noire, how many times they changed the bottles for La Lamatière, and this is the only type of different La Lamatière, both box and bottle. This is how my Tonka Impériale box looks like. I don't know which year this is from. Let me check. 2015, because there's a 5 in there, so I think it's 2015. So what they did in 2015, or up until I think it's 2017 when they started to change the bottles into. So let me explain. Back in the day, the first time they launched these bottles, you couldn't remove this. Now it is removable. I don't want to do that. There's some plumber's tape in there because these bottles are leaking. There used to be problems with these bottles. And you could change this type of atomizer with the silly pump thing, right? It looks cool. It looks very cool. I love this. Back in the day, you couldn't even change them, I suppose. They were fixed, right? And you only got the pumps. And they caused a lot of problems. People were reporting fragrances that were leaking, everywhere, leaking in purses, leaking everywhere. So now they change it so you could have this more, sturdy atomizer. It didn't solve the problem, right? It didn't solve the problem. You still need plumber's tape. However, it is what it is. And then they changed for the fixed atomizer. It's fine. It's great. Tonka Impériale, this was 2010, not Thierry Wasser's first scent for La Lamatière. That one was Iris Ganache. This was, however, the longest running scent of Thierry Wasser in La Lamatière, and alas, now it is discontinued. And let me tell you, when I was discovering the scents of La Lamatière, because it was maybe, I think, in 2018, everything started with me and La Lamatière. I started discovering scent after scent. And when I my first love was Angélique Noire. I bought it the second day. Don't know the order in which I bought them. It's been years now. But when I smelled Tonka Impériale for the first time, I wasn't, terribly impressed. Because I was never a fan of gourmand scents. Never a fan. Still not a fan of gourmand scents. Why I love Angélique Noire is that it's not a truly gourmand scent. It's a vanilla scent, but that doesn't make it gourmand, although it does border on culinary. I love weird scents. I love controversial scents. So there's nothing controversial about Tonka Impériale. It's just a drop-dead gorgeous scent. It's so vanillic. There's so much Tonka and vanilla going on here. It borders on milky, almost that Kirbeluga milk foam going on there. It's almost like, what's that called? It's almost like a condensed milk kind of scent. To gourmand fans, that's beautiful. And my nose and my preferences have changed. My heart is now very much open to gourmands. The good ones, the Guerlain made ones. Joking, of course, but I am much more open to indulging in very sweet scents. Now, Tonka Impériale managed to conquer my heart, managed to grab my attention, not because of its sweetness, but because of how complex the smell is. Because when you first smell it, you know, it's something vanillic, boozy, as I said, almost condensed milk kind of smell. You don't focus on Tonka at first. Tonka is crunchy, almondy, amaretto style, yes, to be sure. But in Tonka Impériale, it's also more coumarin based, right? It's more hay-like, it's more vegetal. There's something of Serluton's Chergui in this, if you know what I mean. There's something also from Ambre Sultan. I'm giving Ambre Sultan now as reference for La Relamatière, and for good reason, because Ambre Sultan feels like, you know, a Serluton's feels like it kind of belongs into La Relamatière, of how it's constructed, the perfection of it, the geometry of it, the architecture. It's very, very complex, and when I detected the resinous dry down, it's when I said, oh God, I think I need to buy a bottle of Tonka Impériale because I didn't have one. And this is what I found. This is not, it was not bought in a Guerlain store because these bottles were already discontinued. I got this from, you know, somebody was selling it, and I was very lucky enough to find it. The notes for Tonka Impériale are bitter almond, rosemary, put a pin in that, bergamot, tonka, tobacco, jasmine, incense. The rosemary note is not truly rosemary note to my nose. It's the coniferous pungency of the incense, right, which is olibanum. As I said, this is what got me into Tonka Impériale. This is very piney. This is a very coniferous scent. So imagine something very fresh, almost like a masculine. And there have been some allegations, you know, that Tonka Impériale was, Thierry Wasser was maybe inspired by Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. I probably give credence to those rumors. They're definitely similar, although if you ask me, Tonka Impériale is definitely the better version of Tobacco Vanille. Tobacco Vanille is much more tobacco-y, and, you know, it's, some people prefer that. This is tobacco to some degree. It makes it maybe drier, it dries the composition, it makes it a lot into the hay category. The coumarin helps as well, but this is not a tobacco-focused scent. There's also some jasmine there for good measure. The focus in this scent is this milky, resinous, coniferous coumarin tonka. It's just gorgeous. It is what it is, right? It's far more complex than Tonka Serapia is. It's far more interesting. But alas, it is discontinued. And when I heard it was being discontinued 2 years ago, because this is also an unboxing video, found myself a decently, well, for a discontinued scent, decently priced 100 milliliter new bottle of Tonka Impériale. This is a bottle from 2021. So it's a 2021 bottle. And I've had this for, I think, 2 years, and I haven't opened this. Let's see how a newer bottle of Tonka Impériale is. Let's see if anything's changed. I suppose because my bottle is so old, some changes must happen there. Let's see. I'm expecting something very tiny because I'm used to the 200 ml bottle. Yes, it's quite tiny. Oh God, it's so small compared to my larger bottle of Angélique Noire. This looks tiny indeed. And let me compare the colors as well. Now the colors are different. The newer is more reddish in tone. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. My bottle is matured. My bottle is different. I suppose it will be different in smell as well. Let's see how this smells, and let's see if it's worth it or not. Oh no, the monster is awake. Oh God. Here it comes. Have to solve this now. Good thing I'm wearing dark blue. Everything orange will be visible. All right, I'm going to spray a fragrance now. Are you going to be okay with that? Do I have your permission to spray the fragrance? Try not to bother you. But you will be bothered. All right. Nevertheless. I'm happy to tell you that this smells exactly the same. It is exactly the same. It is boozy amaretto. You know, amaretto is a spirit, so that's that was unnecessary. It's amaretto. It opens like amaretto, bitter almond. Couldn't possibly tell you the dry down right now. I'm just experiencing an opening, but the opening is pretty much the same. The milky vanilla is there. Everything is, you know, it's fine. It's perfect. All right. There's not much else you can judge for a new Tonka Impériale or other new bottles as well. I got a bit confused. So the number that tells you the year is the first number, right? So this would make it a 2022 bottle, and this is a 2015. I will do with this bottle as I plan to do with Angélique Noire. I will use this and keep this in storage because this is much more precious to me. It's funny how the older bottles, which were 75 milliliters, look, you know, more luxurious and more imposing and larger than the newer bottles. It is what it is. Can't complain ad nauseum about changes. You have to embrace the change. Tonka Impériale, can't wait to wear this. Should I do a brief comparison to Tonka Sarapia? I really don't want to spray this because this is very, very strong. It's much, much stronger than Tonka Impériale. The La Matière fragrances, you know, the older ones, used to be not about performance, but about, you know, quality of scent and the craftsmanship and all that. Now, this is, Tonka Sarapia doesn't seem like it's crafted at all, you know. It's very different. It's much sweeter, then again, much drier and less vanillic than Tonka Impériale, which of course it is. This focuses only on Tonka. It still feels like an amaretto, although it's not as boozy as Tonka Impériale. And it's more in the idea of a one note type of fragrance, which again is Tonka. It's just Tonka. This is why to my nose this doesn't feel as worked. This is much more similar to the Millésime Tonka variety of Shalimar. What can I say? It's beautiful. It still reminds me a lot more of Hypnotic Poison. So this doesn't feel like a Guerlain all that much, whereas Tonka Impériale feels like a Guerlain because it's got all the Guerlinade elements. I'm judging Tonka Sarapia too harshly. It's a gorgeous smell, but the price, you know, the price is very prohibitive. So it's not even an option for me. But it is a beautiful smell, and let me tell you, I wore this a couple of times. It's choking you. It's too much. But if you apply, because it's an X-ray, if you apply 1 or 2 sprays at most, you're going to be fine. This is luxurious indeed. Tonka Sarapia. Good scent. Too expensive. Now, you know, back to Tonka Impériale. It's a shame. I can't believe this is discontinued because I'm holding a newish, you know, 2022 bottle. I can't believe this is no longer being produced. Maybe at some point we'll get this back. They didn't used to do this, you know, back in the day. Up until 2020, you know, when they launched Muscoutre Noir, and this was the mark of the changes that were to come at Guerlain. They didn't used to discontinue scents from La Matière. The only 2 scents that were discontinued from La Matière until then were Mire de Lire and it is ganache. But now they're discontinuing scents left and right, you know, which is a shame because they're making space for cherry oud. Alright, so these were my thoughts on Tonka Impériale. If you have any other questions, do let me know in the comments. And until next time, remember, fragrance creates memories, and may yours be happy.